This week we saw the release of the Tales and Trails update, which might seem like it's one update, but it's actually two separate Minecraft 1.20s, one for Java and one for Bedrock, and the obvious question is, are there any version exclusives? And the answer might just surprise you, because yes, sort of, despite huge efforts to keep the two updates the same, there's quite a few differences between them, and an obvious example of this are the brand new achievements only on Java. There are 8 on Java and 4 on Bedrock, but the 4 on Bedrock all come with character creator gears, but also, look what they've done here, the Java Edition logo doesn't look like this anymore, it looks like this now. This is a slightly smaller Minecraft text and a slightly larger Java Edition text, which means that also the Mince Raft Easter egg, this is a Java exclusive that plays 1 in every 10,000 times, now looks like this instead of this, and also has its own texture in the files. Oh, and here's one of the weirdest ones. You see the splash text under all of this, that yellow text under the logo? Well, interestingly enough, that text is slightly different. They added 5 brand new splashes to the Bedrock Edition. These are the 5 splashes. I think they're really fun. I especially like has working bookshelves, because Minecraft has had bookshelves for over a decade, but it's only with 1.20 that they actually can store books, which is a fun thing to be able to say. But there's actually 6 splashes available for the Java Edition, which includes this one saying you should try Joule, which is fun because they've done this for other games. They've got one for Terraria, for example, but they only show on Bedrock the ones that are available on platforms besides PC, which means that maybe Joule is only available there. I tried to look up what Joule is, by the way. If you type in Joule game, nothing comes up besides a character from games released in 2017, so who knows what they're telling me to try, but I won't be able to. However, to balance those Java exclusives, the Bedrock Edition has 7 new loading screen tips, which are only found here, and most of these are pretty basic. I'm sure you know that when you see suspicious blocks, you should use a brush on them. However, you might not have known that the sniffer egg seems to like moss blocks, and this is true. If you grow a sniffer egg on moss blocks, it grows twice as fast, so that is a really useful fact to be able to see. Almost as interesting as the camels, which jump horizontally. It's also worth mentioning that trail ruins are entirely different between platforms. On the Java Edition, when you're looking around the world, you might find some small hints that there is a trail ruins below the ground. However, when the trail ruin first came to Bedrock, the entire structure was surfaced, and when they fixed that bug, they seemed to remove any sign from the surface of a trail ruins, so trail ruins on Bedrock are found by desperately digging underground and hoping you find one, whereas on Java, you can actually look around your world and maybe find one that way. So that's something I assume they're going to fix, but for now, it's an exclusive thing. Speaking of exclusives, Badoom Ching asks, why did you keep calling them sherds? And this is something interesting because in my all 1.20 features video, I call these pottery sherds, but on Minecraft Bedrock, they're called pottery shards. This is technically an exclusive feature for now. Again, 1.20.10 will probably fix a lot of these things. That's an update coming out in not too long, but coming out even sooner is 1.20.1, the equivalent update for Minecraft Java. It's going to be more focused on bug fixes and less focused on additional features, but there is in fact a brand new Java update which is in release candidate phase, so we'll be probably releasing next week. However, 1.20.10 will have more stuff and is coming later than that. Oh, and before we finish speaking about exclusive features, I should also mention that, for example, banners going on shields is a Bedrock 1.20 exclusive because it came to 1.9 for Java, and on the other side of things, the Java Edition only just got the ability to dye any color of bed, carpet, and wall any other color, which is the same thing the other way around, where I cannot believe the Java Edition didn't have that. You had to dye things white so you could get them dyed the other color. It just seems so wasteful. You wouldn't paint your house white just to paint it other colors, would you? Actually, you might. I'm not a painter and decorator, but what I am is someone who can decorate using pots, and something interesting from Jesse Jones is I believe clay pots would be a lot more fun if you could store water, lava, or flowers in them, and this is a common sentiment from the community that you can't store anything in these giant decorated pots that you're making. But first of all, let me convince you why you really don't want to have water inside your pots. I mean, ignoring the fact that, like, really, what value would water in a pot bring besides not being able to see it on the top? I mean, seriously, we have cauldrons that already does the exact same thing. Why would you ever want to have it on a pot? You probably wouldn't, but here's the fun thing. You can't store things in pots, but you can do fun things on top of them, so you might not have known putting a candle on top, for example, actually looks pretty fun. You can put multiple candles in there, but it looks a bit more broken. If you want to, you can put a lightning rod in there as well. I think this is also pretty great. You can have a banner in there, and I really like the way the banner looks from the front. I think it looks pretty decent from the back too. From the side, it's a little bit janky. It looks like some collisions are happening there. And then finally, if you're really into maybe concerning things that you're not meant to make in Minecraft, you can totally make a pipe bomb as well and really concern your friends and family. If you wanted to make the rest of redstone, you could put repeaters in there. However, I think repeaters look really weird unless you have them on the max setting, but it's something you can do alongside trapdoors. I love the fact that they kind of interact with any other block they go into. I do agree that flowers should be able to fit in there, but water and lava, I think people are reaching when they say that, just like how you might be reaching if you think the ability to edit other people's signs is a bad idea. I do admit there are some signs that you might look at and think, oh no, someone might edit them and make it so it says do break the pots or something, but here's the deal, this is a sign I can't edit. I can edit the back if I want to, probably, no I can't, but you can see this is an uneditable sign, whereas if I want to place down my own sign, this one totally will be. I'll place on this, subscribe, and then I could go in here mischievously and type on the back like, haha, don't do it, and really confuse people there. And why is it that this sign I can edit and change, but this one I can't? It's not because this wasn't placed by me, it actually was, it's because you actually can lock in a sign. A feature a lot of people don't know about is the ability to lock in a sign. This sign right here, I can edit until I put honeycomb on, and now I can't. You can lock a sign in place and treat it like an old one, where it has to be broken and replaced, and this is a pretty cool ability if you really don't trust people not to edit your signs. However, I would bear in mind that if you don't trust people not to edit your signs, then they might just break your signs instead, and so you probably shouldn't have been trusting them to begin with. Speaking of not trusting people, I want to go to Dallas's question, which is there a way to place sniffer eggs where they won't hatch? The egg could be used for so many decorations. I think this is such a good idea. I think the same way that you can honeycomb in a copper block or a sign, you should be able to honeycomb in a sniffer egg. That seems mean, but I think the block has so much potential. Even if you just leave it in the corner of your room, it's a fun decoration, but imagine if you could use it for much more serious things, like maybe building a desert temple. Okay, maybe not building a desert temple out of them, but you could do lots of fun things with them if you could just stop them from hatching. So maybe it could be honeycombed, maybe there should be a block that it spawns on, but I love the idea of making it so that sniffer eggs don't hatch in particular ways. But HF's life has a much more important sniffer question, which is, should the sniffer plants have/should get more uses? And should there be more plants in later updates? Well, I think the easy answer to this is yes. Obviously, more plants for the sniffer would be great. I think 2 visually interesting only plants, which give you a dye, which isn't really that useful from them, I think those are 2 fine ideas to begin with, but I think the sniffer could do so much more, and even Mojang agrees, because at one point in development, they had a 3rd plant. We've all seen these vines that were going to come from the sniffer, and I think it's not impossible that we see that in a future update, maybe. So it's possible that they just didn't get it working the way they wanted to. I think even if they were just vines that you could climb, that would be fun, because they glow, they've got a much clearer presence, and they could do really fun things. But imagine this is just a small idea. Imagine if the sniffer vines had experience in them. So they grew like normal vines, but when you harvested them after, say, 10 minutes, you could get a piece of experience for each vine you harvested. If you had a bunch of these, you could literally make an XP farm, and I think that by itself is a good idea. I don't think it would be OP, because we already have ways to farm XP that would be so much better, but I just love the idea of being able to actually farm something like that, and there's so many other better ideas that I'm sure they're considering. However, I think a really important thing to note on this is the fact that Mojang does a much better job at adding use to features later down the line. The best example of this is copper and amethyst. A few people said neither of these things did enough. However, in 1.20, we have a new use for copper, the brush, and we have a new use for amethyst, and I really love this bringing value to older items. And so Thomas's question, which is, what feature are you most excited about being expanded on? I think there are some really cool features, and I can't wait to see what they do with them next. I think the sniffer is one of those things they're clearly going to come back to, and anytime they want to add a new plant, they could give it to the sniffer. I also really love this update because it gives them room in the future to give more reasons for certain structures. If all of the structures in Minecraft existed without the trims, they'd all be slightly less valuable, and now whenever there's a new structure, it can immediately justify its own existence just by having a new armor trim. It could also have a small chance of having suspicious sand or dirt and maybe pottery shards in there, but I like the idea of just them taking the existing mechanics and expanding them out. I think that is the genius of 1.20. It leaves them really good space to do things in future updates, and I hope that's what we see them do. But for now, this has been your Q&A Saturday. I hope you've all enjoyed it. If you want to subscribe, you'll see the latest and greatest in Minecraft news, including what's going on with the next Minecraft update releasing not too long from now. And it's also a great way to stay up to date with my 1.20 adventures, which I've been streaming quite a lot of. I'll be back at that tomorrow. Alongside, I feel like for Seed Sunday, I want to check out, like seeds that have existed for a while, maybe semi-famous seeds, and see what they're like now 1.20 has come out. So I think I'll be doing that fairly shortly. For now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.